Alright, so we're cutting straight to it this week because it's a massive Nintendo Switch eShop sale. Tons of great games, some big new lows, and just a whole lot of incredible stuff worth your time. As always, we're going to be covering the US, Canada, UK, EU, and Australia. And if you enjoyed this kind of weekly rundown, do me a favour and hit subscribe. I've been covering Switch deals, news, reviews, and performance updates for years now. And with the Switch 2 finally here, we are just getting started. Okay, so before we do jump in, we've got some serious winners to announce too. Not just the two $10 eShop gift card winners from last week's video, we do that every week, but also a Switch 2 console winner, two $50 eShop gift card winners, and 5 more $10 eShop gift card winners as well. This was all part of the month-long giveaway I've been running, and yes, it is a big one. So I'll be spreading those announcements throughout the video. Of course, as well, I do have 2 more $10 eShop gift cards up for grabs as well, so just drop a comment down below to enter, and I'll announce those winners next Saturday. Okay, now let's get into it. Yakuza Kiwami is 30% off at a new low price, and if you've never played a Yakuza game, this is the perfect place to start. You are Kiryu, a rising Yakuza who takes the fall for a murder and spends 10 years in prison, only to return to a city and criminal underworld that's completely changed. What follows is part crime drama, part emotional soap opera, and part just total chaos. It's packed with street fights, heartfelt moments, and side quests that range from bizarre to genuinely moving. The combat feels great, letting you switch styles. Mid-fight, you can grab whatever's nearby to smash heads, and yeah, just generally, this world is awesome. On Switch 1, then, it targeted 30 FPS, but had some dips. Still looked great, however. On Switch 2, it is smooth as anything. And yeah, if you've got the new hardware as well, do yourself a favor and queue up Yakuza 0 next. You can find my coverage on that one down below. Unicorn Overlord is 50% off and matching its lowest ever price, and it's one of the very few games I've ever given a 10 out of 10. Now, you play as a prince in exile, building up an army to reclaim your kingdom. But the real magic is in the way it plays. This isn't direct control tactics. You build squads, assign formations, then watch it all unfold in these beautifully animated real-time battles. It's really all about prep and positioning, and when it clicks, it's endlessly satisfying. The overworld then is massive. It's packed with side quests, hidden units, and towns to liberate, and the art is just pure vanillaware. Lush, detailed, full of charm. It also then just runs really well on the Switch, so yeah, if you love strategy, this is a standout, one of the best games on the system, and you can find my full review below. Streets of Rage 4 is 65% off a new low price, and this is still one of the best brawlers on the Switch. Genre fans will argue between this and TMNT having the crown. I personally flip-flop between the two, but Streets of Rage 4 just nails the vibe. It is a perfect tribute to the originals, complete with killer music and stunning artwork. But it also then at the same time evolves the formula just enough to stand on its own. The combat is tight, the visuals are gorgeous, and the whole thing feels like a love letter from a team that actually understands what made those originals great. So whether you're teaming up in co-op or just smashing your way solo through these neon-lit streets, this one delivers. So yeah, look, overall, if you like classic beat-em-ups, it's absolutely one of the best the genre has to offer. My full review is below. Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist is 35% off, a new low price, and as someone who loved Ender Lilies, this sequel absolutely delivered. It's another beautifully animated, kind of melancholy Metroidvania set in a ruined world, and while the gameplay is a step up with more variety and new companion-based skills, the real draw for me was the atmosphere. You know, the art is stunning, the music is incredible, and the whole thing feels like, I don't know, sad yet hopeful, I guess. But yeah, you play as Lilac, trying to save corrupted creatures by purifying their souls, and the world design is just full of these ruins, labs, forests. I played it on the Switch 1, it ran wilder, but I'm planning to test it again on Switch 2, just to see if the extra hardware can give it any sort of, I guess, bump. Either way, though, like, this is a must-play for fans of exploration and combat. The first game is on sale too, if you do want to check that out, because that one, an absolute gem. Alright, so first up, the two winners for two $10 eShop gift cards on screen right now. These are the winners from last week's video. Congrats both, email me for the code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next Saturday's video. Anno Mutationem is 45% off a new low price, and this is one of the most stylish, kind of offbeat action RPGs on the Switch. You play as Anne, a combat-trained lone wolf on a personal mission through a beautifully gritty cyberpunk city. The gameplay itself then fuses kind of 2D action with 3D exploration. It sounds odd, but the transitions between these perspectives are seamless, and it gives the game this real sense of depth, visually and narratively. You'll be slashing through enemies though, solving mysteries, chatting with a unique cast, and slowly unraveling a genuinely interesting story about your missing brother. See, it's got a lot going on this, but somehow it just all works. Yeah, I was a big fan of it when I first played through it. I actually want to revisit it as well, but you can check out my review in the pinned comments. Wild Bastards is 60% off, matching the low price, and while it doesn't quite reach the heights of Void Bastards, it's a worthy, wildly creative follow-up. This one blends first-person shooting with roguelike strategy as you hop from planet to planet, trying to resurrect your fallen outlaw gang. Each planet's basically a mini sandbox where you collect loot, pick fights, and then dive into short, first-person shootouts. The twist, you've got 13 unique characters to manage, all with different abilities, weapons, and personalities. And yeah, they don't always get along, so you'll have to play diplomat at times and tactician as well. That does get a little annoying towards the end game, honestly, but overall, I love the cel-shaded look. The gunplay feels solid. The chunky graphic novel vibe really works. And yeah, there's just a really strong kind of sense of uniqueness to the whole game. So overall, yeah, a little rough around the edges at times, sure, but just packed with charm. And I think it's a great pickup for someone that wants something just a little bit different. A Short Hike is 45% off a new low price, and if you've ever wanted a game to just vibe with, this is the one. So you play as Claire, a bird visiting a quiet island on holiday, but they're awaiting a phone call, and in the meantime you decide to hike up to the top of this mountain. That's the goal technically, but what the game's really about is the in-between. Talking to strangers, finding treasures, gliding across lakes, and just soaking in this peaceful atmosphere. It's short, like the title says as well, maybe 90 minutes on a first run, but I've played through it 3 or 4 times now, and every visit feels like a little, I don't know, mental reset. But no combat, no stress, just a perfectly paced slice of exploration and discovery. On Switch then it runs great, and the music is, yeah, stunning. One of the best, in my opinion at least, cozy games out there. Up now then, the 5 winners for 5 $10 eShop gift cards here on screen right now. Now, unfortunately, the tool I used for this giveaway didn't give me handles. The first name and first letter of the surname is what I'm going with. I didn't want to drop full names. The same will go for the 2 $50 eShop gift cards coming up, as well as the console itself. Now, I will say with these, I have emailed all winners, so do check there if the name matches. However, with this competition, if those prizes are not claimed by next Saturday, midday UK time, I will be redrawing. These prizes, they need a good home. NanoApostle is 30% off a new low price, and if you're after something brutal and relentless, this one absolutely delivers. It's a boss rush action game with a razor-sharp focus on skill, pattern recognition, and precision. Now, you play as Anita, a test subject fused with a sentient nanomachine named Apostle. You're fighting your way through what is a biotech facility packed with just weaponized experiments. The vibe is kind of pure dark sci-fi, and the atmosphere is one of the reasons I keep coming back. It does a great job building its world despite being so stripped down in format. The combat then is fast, aggressive, and punishing with multi-phase boss fights. And yeah, if you love games like Fury or Cuphead, that, you know, where challenge is kind of the point, then this is definitely worth a look. It's not going to be for everyone, but for the right player, you'll definitely appreciate this. Road Redemption is 75% off a new low price, and if you grew up playing Road Rash, this is basically its spiritual successor dialed up to 11. Now, originally released back in 2018, it's a blend of high-speed racing and melee combat where you're not just trying to win, you're trying to survive. Bats, machetes, shotguns, pipe bombs, it's all fair game as you lead your gang across this post-apocalyptic wasteland. You're basically trying to take down rival factions and collect a bounty. Now, look, it's rough around the edges, especially on Switch 1, but honestly, it's a blast at the same time. I'm actually planning to revisit it on Switch 2, see if it holds up better. But yeah, overall, it's fast, it's unhinged, just it's great fun. So if you've ever wanted, let's say, Mario Kart with blood and sledgehammers, this is probably a good option. Metal Slug Tactics is 30% off a new low price, and if you told me years ago this run-and-gun arcade classic would turn into a grid-based strategy game, I'd probably have laughed. But somehow, it absolutely works. It's a tactical RPG with roguelike elements built around the classic Metal Slug pixel art and, you know, explosions. Only now you're planning your shots instead of mashing that fire button. But here you'll be building a squad using iconic characters, pulling off synced attacks for massive damage, and calling in the big guns occasionally when things get tight. So think tanks, airstrikes, and yes, Metal Slug itself. It is tough too, I gotta say, with a proper die and retry loop that really pushes you to fine-tune your loadout and rethink that approach. But yeah, a really fun reimagining of a classic series, and I hope it gets a follow-up because it really is one of the better entries for the genre. Okay, we are warming up now at this point. On screen right now, the two winners for two $50 eShop gift cards. This is where you all begin to bankrupt me a little bit, but thank you again, of course, for the support. It's appreciated. But look, congrats both. I have emailed you, so do look out for that. Yeah, let's keep going. Beverage Stars then is 70% off for matching the low price. It hasn't been on sale of this one since 2023, so if it's on your radar, now may be the time. I'll be honest, visual novels aren't usually my thing, but this one completely just hooked me. It's a mystery thriller set during a televised survival audition show that turns deadly when the studio collapses. Somehow, in the process of this collapse, someone gets murdered. What follows is part character drama, part whodunit, and it's packed with branching dialogue, twists, and a surprisingly tense social media mechanic that lets you monitor how the outside world is kind of reacting in real time. The cast is what sold me, just a really distinct, well-written group of characters, each with their own motivations and secrets. Visually as well, looks lovely. It blends 2D portraits with 3D environments, and it's a really unique style. So yeah, if you're even a little curious, I think it's a great option, and again, doesn't go on sale all that often, so it's kind of a situation where you could risk not picking it up, but it could be a couple of years. Fear the Spotlight is 40% off a new low price, and this one made headlines as a debut release from Blumhouse Games, a studio known for horror films like Get Out and Insidious. Turns out they might be onto something with this gaming thing though, because this is a short but effective horror adventure with classic 90s energy. Think flashlight in hand, sneaking through an abandoned school after, yeah, I guess a summoning goes wrong. You're trying to find a missing friend while avoiding something, let's say, supernatural. Overall, though, really good, fun game. It's got that fixed camera, Silent Hill vibe, really nice retro aesthetic, some interesting puzzles, and the atmosphere really works. There were a few frame rate stumbles, especially in larger spaces, I will say that, but nothing that's too much of an issue. And I think overall, nails the tone, the pacing, and the setting. Story actually surprised me too. There's a few late game reveals that definitely caught me off guard, let's say. So yeah, look, if you're after a bite-sized slice of horror, this one, definitely an interesting genre entry. Dead by Daylight then is 65% off a new low price. I actually featured this in last week's video, but I wanted to say here, if you are watching this video close to upload, there's going to be just a couple of hours left before the deal disappears. That's for the UK, EU, and then Australia. If you're in the US and Canada, you got maybe 6 hours max. Wanted to highlight it one last time because I just did a Switch 2 performance check, and honestly, it's finally there. This game has a rough history on the Switch, low frame rate, poor visuals, just not great. On the Switch 2, it now runs at a locked 30 FPS and feels totally playable. So if you've ever been curious, this is the best version we've had on Switch. And yeah, I'll drop that performance breakdown in the pinned comment. Maybe take a look at that after this video. All right, it's the big one. Our winner of the Switch 2 console then is on screen right now. Congrats on the win. I hope you enjoy it. But again, look, please, if the name matches, look out for my email. It should be there right now. Email me ASAP as well, because I will redraw next Saturday if it's not claimed. And for those that entered, thank you so much for the support. But do not worry, it won't be the last giveaway we do here. I'm working on securing another one right now. So hopefully you will see that on the channel relatively soon if I can make it work. As always, though, look, though, thank you so much for the support. The response was incredible. I did not expect that. So, yeah, enjoy the console, and hopefully we'll have another one very soon. Outer Wilds then is on sale right now, and if you haven't played it already, this is the time. Now, look, I wanted to feature just the base game. It's the cheapest point of entry, but I'll say it up front. The bundled with the DLC is also on sale, 100% worth it. It's about 20 quid or your regional equivalent. But yeah, the game's a masterpiece, a mind-bending space exploration mystery that unfolds in real time across planets that change as you play. I actually featured it a couple of weeks ago, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but I will say this, I actually checked it on Switch 2 this week, put it in a video, I'll put that down below. but it's a night and day difference. On Switch 1, frame rate and resolution were a real struggle. On Switch 2, the aliasing is more obvious now, but the image just looks way better, and also the frame rate is holding at that 30 pretty much. There are some stumbles here and there, but honestly, yeah, like night and day difference again. Definitely worth playing. One of my favorite indies in recent memory, and many will say, as I've said already, the game is a masterpiece. The Persona collection then is 60% off a new low price, and these are some of the best RPGs ever made, just full stop basically. You get Persona 3 Portable, 4 Golden, and 5 Royal, all in one, and honestly, if you haven't played them, this is a no-brainer. 5 Royal is stylish, dramatic, probably the most accessible of the three, I'd say. It's the most recent. 4 Golden blends small-town murder mystery with one of the best casts in the genre. It's my personal favourite Persona entry. And then 3 Portable, it's a darker take, I guess. It still hits hard today, but some of the exploration it uses, like this overworld map vibe, that won't work for everyone. Now, I have reviewed them, so I'll link those down below. But I'm just hoping we see the Persona 3 remake hit Switch 2 sometime in the near future. 100 Line Last Defense Academy then is our final game. It's 10% off, a new low price, and yes, it's not a big discount, but it's a brand new game. It's absolutely worth it. It's a hybrid between a visual novel and a tactical RPG, and it kind of really actually leans into both strong character drama, mystery, tension, and these surprisingly intense turn-based battles where positioning and powers really matter. The setup as well is wild. You're one of 15 students trapped in a school for 100 days, trying to survive attacks from what are monsters, while deciding who you can trust and how far you're willing to go. In between fights, you'll explore these ruins, the school, you'll craft items, you'll build bonds. It all can then impact the ending. I've only really scratched the surface of this one myself, but I love it. Stylish, sharp, full of surprises. And yeah, I really hope we get to see more. More like it, I guess, in the future. And that is the video down. It's a massive sale at this one. Tons more games, so do expect more videos on it very soon here on the channel. It is great as well to finally get these winners out into the world. Congrats to all, and once again to everyone, thanks for supporting the channel. It means a lot, not just now, but over the last 7 years. Honestly, the growth each year continues just to amaze me. If you did enjoy this video then, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Helps us out a huge amount. Helps me do things like the giveaway, as I'm sure you can imagine. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers all.